Hey everyone, before the video starts, I just want to say that everything in this video is my opinion, okay? This is the Game Awards. It happens every single year. Last year when I did this, people really liked this video and it was a great discussion in the comment section. So if you have a differing opinion than my own, please leave it in the comment section of this video so that way we can talk about it. On top of that, the way I'm going to be talking about the nominations in this video and voting are strictly my thoughts on the game. I'm not going to be doing what I think will actually win, because for most of them that will probably be different because everybody judges games differently. So again, if you have a certain game that you think is going to take home the gold at the end of the day, leave it in the comment section down below. All right, so we are back with a whole another year of games done, which means it's time to go through the Game Awards. And the nominations this year have made people very upset, and we will get to that when we get to the Game of the Year. So we're going to start it off right this year. Last year I clicked the wrong button and we pretty much got the winner at the end of the day. I just realized you guys can see my second monitor here, so we're going to ignore that. Just pretend you don't see that for now, and we'll get that fixed for the next time I do a face cam video. All right, so best esports team. So I'm actually someone who does watch a majority of esports, so Valorant, League of Legends, Rocket League, Call of Duty. I even watch fighting game tournaments, even though I know nothing about what's going on. I just find them super interesting. So for this, I feel like T1 winning Worlds for League, I'm biased, but I feel like that was such a huge achievement for them. If you don't know the story, essentially they weren't even supposed to be at the tournament. They were the reigning world champions. They were 4th seed going into the tournament from their region, and they pretty much just piss stomped everybody. Genji sucked, Billy sucked this year, so we're gonna go with T1. All right, so best esports athlete. Again, super biased. I'm stuck between either Faker or Kane from the Valorant scene. I feel like the Valorant win was such a huge thing because nobody nobody really thought that China was going to win it all in terms of Valorant this soon, especially because their league started so much later than everybody else's. I don't really know who these other two people are, 3-3 and Alexibi. I think that's a CSGO player. I know Zaiwu. I'm just gonna go with Kang, and that's just what we're gonna do. Best esports game. I mean, CSGO, it's just, there's not really much else to be said there. That game is just such a great esports game. All right, so content creator of the year, I'm going with Queso.
There is literally no way I got a life-size fork.
Because I think that he's not only a super positive individual, but I mean, if you've seen any of his clips, he's just so funny, and his relationship with his chat is everything I think anyone could ever want
Before I consume you.
from a Twitch chat. So I mean, they just roast each other all day. I mean, isn't that perfect? I feel like that is. All right, so most anticipated game for next year. For myself personally, I'm actually the most excited for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, just because I've been waiting for a new Metroid Prime game for so many years. I mean, this game was announced 7 to 10 years ago now. I'm also really excited for Ghost of Yote, still can't pronounce it, but we all know how my video on that game did, okay? Is it bad that I'm like the least excited for GTA 6? Is that bad to say? Obviously this one's gonna win. It's gonna sweep every category next year too, but I have a feeling, I don't know, I'm so hopeful that I am wrong with this, but I just have a feeling that this game is not going to be as good as GTA 5. I feel like GTA 5 was such a cultural impact and so insane that people are getting their hopes up way too high for this. So I mean, again, I'm gonna go with Metroid Prime 4. We all know GTA 6 is gonna win this one. It's not even a fucking competition. Okay, best adaptation. We have the Tomb Raider series, I'm not even going to say the name. Knuckles, Fallout, and Arcane. Arcane all the way for me. The Knuckles show apparently was also super good. If anybody votes for Like a Dragon, Yakuza, you don't know what you're talking about and you lose all All credit. I don't even know. Best multiplayer. This is hard because from the other nominees, I feel like Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 deserves so much more credit than it got this year for this stupid ceremony. But I already know it's probably not going to win this one either. I feel like it's probably between Helldivers, Call of Duty, and Tekken 8. I mean, maybe just because of Nintendo's influence, but I mean, I know that people love this Mario Party. Don't get me wrong. People were saying that this was one of the best Mario parties in years. For me, I got to go with Call of Duty just because it's the one I've played the most. I did play a lot of Helldivers 2. I just got so burnt out on that game though, and I'm still somehow not burnt out on Black Ops 6. Same thing as last year, skipping this category completely because I don't play these games. Power to you if you do, I just don't. All right, best sim game. Now, this one is interesting because I feel like I know there's so many people played Manor Lords, and myself included. I thought this game was so much fun. I wouldn't even really know what else to give it to though. I would be happy if any of these won, to be honest, because I'm gonna vote for Manor Lords just because that's the one I played the most, but I could see any of them winning. I thought all of these were actually pretty good this year. Now, best family is interesting. Nintendo has 3 out of the 5 spots, okay? And as you guys can tell from the backdrop that's new and improved, I'm a big Nintendo fan. I think you guys can see this section over here. But for me personally, I gotta go with, when I think of family games, I think of like a party game or like a game that you can get the whole family together and play. It's gotta be Super Mario Party Jamboree. But honestly, if any of these other ones win, the Plucky Squire was so much fun, and I hope that one wins. But I just, like, in me personally, I feel like it's the Super Mario Party, but that's, again, I'm biased as fuck, so don't even listen to me there. Best fighting, I just did a video on it. I'm going with Sparking Zero. The controls are amazing. The fighting feels fantastic. Don't know about Multiverses or Grand Blue, but I'm really happy that Marvel vs. Capcom is on here. I've heard, I haven't gotten to play it yet, that this game is super good and it's super fun. Tekken 8 as well. I know a lot of people are probably going to vote for this one. This is probably going to be the one that wins as well. But for me, Sparking Zero is just my game of this last few months. Like, this game is so much fun. So best RPG. Now this one is also hard because for me, it's easily a 3-way tie between Erdtree, Final Fantasy, and Metaphor. Now, again, not to take anything away from Dragon's Dogma 2 or Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, just for me personally, Metaphor, spoiler alert for the rest of this list, Jesus Christ. I'm gonna probably cut out what I just said, but I don't really know if I like Erdtree being nominated for this because it's a DLC. I'll get into that later, but since it's on this list, I'm gonna be a hypocrite and I'm gonna vote for it because I thought Shadow of the Erdtree was so much fun. Okay, best action adventure. This is so weird to me. Why I get why Silent Hill 2 is on here, but it is not an action adventure game in my heart. It's a horror game. Obviously, there's combat and there's traversal, I guess, and puzzle solving, of course, but combat in that game is not that good. And the game in general is actually really good from a horror fan perspective. But if we're going off of what is being said here, so combining combat, traversal, and puzzle solving, it's got to be Astrobot for me. I'm especially just thinking about those levels, like the more secret, harder levels, just pisses me off to no end because they were so frustrating sometimes. But I'm counting that as puzzle solving. And I did not play The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, even though I heard it's really good. Okay, best action game. Now, this one I can feel. I'm so glad that I do not use X anymore because I can feel like the grossness that this category and whatever game wins this one, I can like feel how gross that platform is going to be. For me, it's got to be Black Myth Wukong. That game shocked me to no end. That's not to take anything away from anything else on this list. For me, it's probably tied between Space Marine 2 and Wukong, but I got to go with Wukong just because that game was so good and I think it deserves awards after the really weird launch that it had in terms of like how people were talking about the game beforehand. I did not play any VR game, but I'm biased, so I'm voting for Batman, even though I know my vote doesn't mean anything. Best mobile game. Now, again, I'm super biased, so I want to just vote for Pokemon, but I literally do not touch mobile games at all. I've played Ballatro, I think is how you say it. I played it for like an hour. I'm just not gonna vote. Okay, best debut indie game. Now, this one is really hard for me. I love indie games. I mean, I could do probably a whole 40-minute long video on why indie games are so important and why they really helped something like the Switch up there. Where is it? How do I right there? They helped that console survive its first year, but I just didn't really get to play a lot of them this year. I heard that all of these are fantastic. Obviously, one of these is nominated for Game of the Year. Personally, from what I've heard and what I've seen, and the one that interests me the most, besides Pacific Drive, because I did play Pacific Drive, was not the biggest fan of it. I'm gonna pick the Plucky Squire just because I've heard it was so good and it was that much fun. But I could see them giving it to this Balatro card game because people, again, it's nominated for Game of the Year, so people obviously loved it. Okay, best independent game. Now, okay, isn't that the same? I guess I'll give it to this one. I don't really know the difference there because I have a monkey brain. Okay, best community support. Another very interesting one. I have kind of fell out of the loop with Baldur's Gate 3 in terms of the news and the updates. I know that they're still doing stuff. Same with Final Fantasy, same with Helldivers 2. Personally, just like the story of No Man's Sky and how they've changed that entire game's lifespan is so cool. I just want to vote for it. But you got to give it a Fortnite. I mean, I hate this game and I hate what it's done to video games and online multiplayer games, but I'm gotta be a hypocrite. I gotta vote for it. It's just the support that Epic gives that game is insane. Best ongoing game. So I've actually played every single one of these on this list. That's a first for a little bit. It's got to be Destiny 2 for me. I think that final event that they did, I didn't play it. Okay, hear me out. I have a really, really good friend of mine who now watches the videos trying to get me to play this game, and I've just been super swamped and I've wanted to play it. But I think that what I've seen so far, it's got to be the best, and it's the last thing that Bungie is doing with this game. So I feel like they should go out with flowers. I mean, Destiny 2 is so great. Games for Impact. Ooh. We're gonna skip that one. Innovation in accessibility. I love this category because I think it's super important to continue to make games more accessible for anybody who wants to play them. Again, I got all my limbs. I don't feel right voting in this list, but if you do, I really want to know in the comment section down below because I will pin that comment. I want to know what game is the best in accessibility. I remember when I think it was The Last of Us Remastered Part 1. I want to say it was that one that had such an insane accessibility mode, but again, let me know if what you think. Best performance. Now, I saw this category before and it makes me really upset that the two characters from Banishers of New Eden are not on this list because that game got snubbed by everybody. I don't care what anybody says. That game is amazing. The story is so good, and part of it is because of the performances. However, I have to give it to Life is Strange Double Exposure here just for bringing back the character. I mean, I could see Luke Roberts. I'm changing my mind. I'm giving it to Luke Roberts. I'm changing my mind. I thought Silent Hill 2 was just super good and I wanted to win something, and I don't want Life is Strange to win anything. Best audio design. Now, I hate that Call of Duty is on here because they have that option where you can pay to get better audio. So I will not be voting for that. Astrobot, what the fuck? Astrobot had really great sound design, and the PlayStation controller was able to take full advantage of it, and I thought that was sick. But I'm gonna go with Silent Hill 2 because I'm a huge horror fan, and I thought that the sound design in that game, the footsteps, the music, just how every like hostile enemy sounded, just the being able to break into a car and just hear every piece of glass, so cool. Love it, such a great game, so good. I'm so glad they pulled it off. Best score and music going to Metaphor, and I don't even need to look at the other nominees. If you wanted to, here you go. It's that one for me. Not even. Best art direction. Okay, I'm gonna get flack for this. I don't really think that I enjoyed the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree art direction as much as everything else on this list. Mostly because it was pretty much the same as what we've gotten before. For me, it's definitely a tie between Astrobot, Wukong, and Metaphor. I'm going to go with Astrobot just because I love this game more than Wukong. I don't like it more than Metaphor, but we'll get to that later. For me, I think that every single level design, the main world design, all of the bots designed, every mob, Astro himself, everything about this game design-wise was 10 out of 10. I think it was so much fun. So I'm giving it to that. But I can definitely see Wukong winning. Same with Urge Tree, same with Metaphor, even with Neva. I think that game looks gorgeous. So I can see anybody in this taking it, to be honest. Best narrative. I'm not interested that Silent Hill 2 is on here because it is kind of technically a remake. I know they changed things, but that's interesting. You know, Hellblade 2, really good narrative, but just so fucking short for no reason. Had no reason being that short. Infinite Wealth was really good, really fun. Same with Final Fantasy, but Metaphor for me, I don't really want to get into it. It's so good, man. 5 hours into the game and I was hooked. So I just can't say that about anything else. Best game direction. So outstanding creative visuals and innovation in game direction and design. See, this one's really hard. Okay. I don't really like that Urge Tree is on here again, but I understand why, so it's okay. I'm going to give it to the card game because I think that the way that game was designed from a creative aspect is so awesome. And again, Urge Tree is not really that much new. Obviously, the whole game is new. That's not what I meant to say. You know what? Forget it. I'm not even going to go into it. Urge Tree is fucking awesome. One of the best games to come out this year. I feel like I've been shitting on it this whole video. I'm not trying to. Okay, the final category is Game of the Year. Now, for me, although I know this game is fantastic, I barely played any of it. I cannot pronounce it either. Balatro is my lowest one on here just because it just didn't really speak to me that much. And shockingly for me as well, Final Fantasy is also one of the lower ones. The only one that's below it besides the card games is actually going to be Wukong. I don't know. I really liked Wukong. I loved the combat, but in terms of hooking me, it just didn't really do that. I thought the game was great. I thought the mythology aspects were so cool. The graphics were insane, but just compared to everything else on this list, those two are kind of the weakest links. And then for me personally, I liked Urge Tree just a slight bit more than I liked Final Fantasy. Now, the thing with Rebirth is something about it felt off, and I'm not sure what it is. For me, Urge Tree, so good. So great. It was a great add-on. The direction that they went with the whole new world and being able to have a different power scale, it was just so creative. I don't really like that it's on this list though. I know that that's pretty much what everybody on the internet is saying right now, so I don't want to kind of be a copy pasta and just agree with everybody. I do wish that they had a remake / DLC category. That can get kind of wonky though, so I get why they don't. I just don't think I like the president. Hold on. I don't like the precedence of having a DLC on this list, even though Urge Tree was better than pretty much every game that came out this year, and it's bigger than a lot of games that also came out this year. However, this spot should be for games that are brand new experiences. And again, Urge Tree does a lot of new things, but I don't think it's new enough to replace things like Sparking Zero, Banishers of New Eden, etc. That's my hot take on that. So it's not my game of the year. Astrobot was my game of the year. It was for so long. The moment I got my hands on this game, I was like, it's different. It's just, for me, again, huge Nintendo fan, love platformers. Everything about it is so good. And this game deserves Game of the Year, in my opinion, over everything else, except for Metaphor. Metaphor, Atlas just blew it out of the park with this game for me personally. Now, if you watched my impressions video on Metaphor, which I know a good chunk of my viewers that go from video to video did. This game spoke to me on such a different level than anything else. 5 hours into it, which is pretty much the whole tutorial section, I was hooked. I did not play the demo. I did not follow any of the trailers. I didn't follow any of the announcements. I only made one video prior to it releasing where I was talking about how it was actually looking pretty good. Otherwise, this was the most blind I had ever gone into a game over the last few years, and I don't know. Everything about it. I still listen to the soundtrack after I've pretty much completed playing my playthrough of the game for now. The replayability here too is so good because of all of the different things that you can customize. Everything is just, it's hard for me to put into words how much I really enjoyed the experience of this game. And again, I was also gifted this game, so there's an innate bias with that. It would be like if Sparking Zero was on here, it would be very hard for me to be juggling between Metaphor and Sparking Zero because I'm a lifetime Dragon Ball fan. So I'm innately biased here. So again, this is my opinion, but Metaphor, game of the year for me. And it's close, but it's really not that close. And that is it. So you heard it here first. My personal game of the year, Metaphor ReFantazio from Studio Zero, Atlas, and Sega. This game for me was the best game that I played this year. The story was the most involved I've felt in a story in a long time. And I mean, the score, the visuals, everything about it, the world building, at least for someone who's new, it made me want to go back and play the classic Atlas games. This was like the first Atlas game besides Persona 5 that I really dove face first into. And I wish I could experience it again from that aspect because it's just so grand and so great. So another year and another Game Awards. That's gonna be it for this video. I know that I've been kind of blocking the light right here. I apologize with my hand movements, but I have a little LED light right here, right off camera, and I've been fucking blocking it for like the video. If you also did this and you voted for the game of the year, or you just followed along with this video, let me know what picks were different for you in the comment section. Again, if you respect my opinion, I'm going to respect yours. So don't just jump in the comment section all hot because I didn't pick the game that you did. It's totally okay for us to have different opinions. That's what's beautiful about the Game Awards, even though I don't really like Jeff Keighley all that much. I might live stream the Game Awards. I'm still very iffy on that. It just kind of depends on how things are going. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you are one of the handfuls of people watching this video and you are not subscribed yet, please scroll down and click that. This is the first video I've done with a face cam in a minute. This is kind of how I want live streams to be set up, in this kind of angle with the backdrop. That's why I have the backdrop like this, because I do want to start live streaming, which I told myself I will only do if I ever hit 1,000 subs. So we got to do that first, and then I'll start with the live streams. But yeah, if you like the backdrop, I thought it was pretty cool. You can't really see all of it because I'm blocking a large majority, but you see I got my Venom stuff, and then kind of blends in. I got my G Fuel there. I don't even drink that shit. I don't even know why it's there. And you can't really see above, but I have like South Park figurines, and then I got some pop figures and my Sora pop figure because you motherfuckers made me a Kingdom Heart fan. But yeah, let me know what you thought about this video in the comment sections down below. If this is your second Game Awards video you've been watching for me, thank you. Isn't it wild how the channel has changed over the last year? Because it really hasn't changed all that much. It's mainly just my editing style has been a little better, I hope, and I hope this video kind of shows that as well. Anyways, this has been Nate, otherwise known as Wicked, and I will see you guys next year for the next Game Awards, or for the next video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.